Hello, and welcome to Coffee Chat. My name is Dave Bennet, and welcome to our program today. My guest today is Rick Sparling, a prolific writer, history writer of the Nipawin area. Rick, you and I have done a number of interviews on your books, haven't we?
I think we've done 3 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to count them up before we started to tape here, and I could mention 5 previous books that you've written.
Yeah, I think this is my number 6.
This will be number 6,
Yeah.
and you've been doing this for 7, 8 years now, maybe.
Yeah, I think so, about there.
Yeah,
Maybe-
yes, that's right. Yeah,
Maybe 9.
maybe 9. Time goes by, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you've certainly done a lot of history of the Nipawin area, and the Nipawin people certainly appreciate it. This particular book is called, well, here we have a copy of the book right here. And this one's got a color front on it. It's a big book. It's bound with ring binding on it and so on. Excellent looking book, much in the same fashion as your other books. And it's entitled Manitoba Senior Baseball, South Central and Westman. So it's certainly not all of Manitoba, although I think you mentioned a little bit in here about some of the other teams perhaps. So, wow, that's how many pages did you tell me it was?
I think this one is 673.
673 pages in here. So you're going to want to get your hands on one of these if you're a baseball aficionado of this particular area. So when did you get started on this one, Rick, and who prompted you to do it? How did this get going?
I've always kind of had a big interest in baseball, and my brother was on the 1955 Cubs, and I was a bat boy on that team.
Okay.
And I know like a lot of the players and that, and I kind of wanted to get involved again for another winter project, and which ended up going more than the winter. But I liked doing the research on it. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yes.
And made a lot of contacts. I got a lot of people help me with pictures and players' names and things like that.
Well, people have got to know you too, and that you don't start a project and not finish it. So if they're going to, right, if they're going to help you, they feel better about offering to help you because they know it's going to get done.
I did the 25 years on the, or I guess 30 years on the Nipawin Native book, and I did put a comment in there saying that somebody better pick up the next 25 because I'm not going to be here.
You're not going to be here to do that. Well, maybe the next 10. You could do a pamphlet on the next 10 or something like that. That's right. Yeah, you did Nipawin minor hockey, school hockey.
Yeah.
The Titans are natives, as the name was previously.
Right.
What else?
The Roxy.
Well, that's your more recent one was the Roxy.
Just the Memories book.
Memories book.
Yeah.
Is that the business community?
No, the business was another one.
Was
the
another?
Memories was growing up in Nipawin.
Oh,
and
okay.
all those stories.
So this really is number 7 then, according to my count. But
Okay,
anyway,
could be.
he's lost track, folks, and he's only got so many fingers, so he's going to run out. As that. So tell me, like, what really prompts you to do this? It's enjoyable to you, I know, but in Nipawin, why is Nipawin such a hometown for you?
Well, you grew up here.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, but I don't. But I live here, and you don't.
Yeah. Well, I had so much fun growing up here, and all my friends that grew up here feel the same way. We're really strong believers in Nipawin, and I love doing research on Nipawin. So
On that.
yeah.
Yeah, in sports side of it, particularly, and that you've done in the hockey and the ball, as well as businesses and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go back. So this will be a year, a bit longer ago, you started on this. So when you go to start a book like this, what do you start with? Do you start with trying to find people, pictures?
Well,
how's your planning going?
The planning is that it's Manitoba Senior Baseball. It started basically, the league started in about 1951, 1950.
Okay.
So that was the Nipawin District League, which had Cubs, Eden, Spring Hill, and
Farmers?
No, the Farmers weren't in.
Farmers
The Farmers were in the first. Yeah, the Farmers were in, won it in 51 and 53, I think.
Okay.
And then Eden won it a couple of years, and then Nipawin Cubs have won it, I guess, the most probably out of as long as it ran. It ran from 1950 to 1968.
Okay,
And
so
then-
that's 18, 19 years.
Yeah, and then they went into a Northwestern League for a couple of years, and then the Yellowhead League.
So that started in traveling farther for games and so on. And
Yeah.
those leagues covered a larger area, I suppose.
And then they went into the South Central League,
Okay.
and the South Central League changed into the Santa Clara.
Oh, right.
And
Which is the only one
still
that's in
going.
existence right now
Yeah.
that I'm particularly aware of. That the TV station does the Santa Clara.
yeah,
Newport Cup
I've
Central.
watched you announce on there,
You've-
so I've watched
you've-
some games on
You've
there.
heard me talk on there.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
I do the play-by-play
Yeah.
and some of the field announcing
Yeah,
on there as well. That's right.
and then we went from Santa Clara, which is still active. We do go into the Manitoba Senior Baseball League, and as long as they played, and have pictures of all the championship teams through it,
Teams.
and basically followed the farmers.
Right.
So if the farmers were to play Hamiota, who's not in our area, Hamiota would still be in the book, like the
well, right.
mention of them.
Yeah.
And there's a Hall of Fame section in which a lot of
So,
Hamiota.
so there is a Hall of Fame section in the book
Yeah.
where you're dedicated to that
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. So then, to get back to that question, do you kind of plan out sections? Well, I think I want to do something on the Manitoba Baseball Hall. Fame Hall of Fame, and then you want to do the leagues, and then what other
I
sort
wanted
of
just to
sections?
do it kind of sort of chronologically. It gets a little difficult, but starting off with 1950, which was the
Okay.
Neepawa District League, and then going onwards and to current. So trying to get everything involved in.
So to current, is it right up to like last year? You mean?
Yeah.
Okay, up to which would be 20.
I think Portage won it last time, and they're in there
the
for that.
2024 season would be
Yeah.
the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, it's certainly complete. There's no doubt about that. It's a long time, and it's a big book. Is that so? You obviously have a lot of help. You do. I noticed in the back there was a list of a number of people that helped. It was an extensive list as well.
I don't know if I got everybody or not. I tried to.
Yeah,
but I
you-
mean, I got so much help, and I'll give you an example. Jim Klim from Minnedosa.
Okay.
I had all the Minnedosa pictures, but I had no players' names, and
Oh.
so I contacted Jay, and he supplied all those names for me, and then I could have typed them in. So the whole book is based on newspaper clippings,
Right. Yes.
and
I know that because I've seen the other ones. So there may be people that haven't.
and some of them that
yeah.
were too blurry to read, I had to retype and
so on.
do
So,
it, so
yeah, so a lot. It's well, if we can hold it up as such. There a lot of it is newspaper clippings and so on. So and that you researched and got.
Can I just should explain to you
Go
too that Lori Lewandowski and Cindy Tibbetts supplied me with enough merchandise that I couldn't carry it to my car.
Oh wow!
There was in like huge Tupperware, and there was scrapbook upon scrapbook, and I took it all back to Winnipeg, and that's where I spent the winter.
Well, they're-
working on all that.
Their husbands
Yeah,
and Gail as well. I'm guessing perhaps. It's
and they like so many people supplied stuff for me like
Yeah.
that. And those are just a few that I could mention, but they're probably mentioned in the book.
the. So as far as getting names and so on, were you able to pretty well? Like I flip here, and that's a pretty good list of names there and here.
Yeah, there's teams like this one here. I had to. There's no names on that one, but their team is on the next page, probably named.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, that's just an article saying they want
Yeah.
it.
No, no
There they
picture.
are there.
Okay, there we are up there with
Yeah.
with the names and that up
Right,
there.
but I didn't have those names, and so I had to go to each team. That's Plumas, so I had to go to the fellow there, and he supplied the names for me.
Right.
I should just point out on the book too that
Go
a
ahead.
book this size is not a book that you hold in your hand and read like this.
Right, difficult.
And if it's bound with glue, and you put it on a table and open it, it's gonna compromise
Oh yes.
the
yeah.
book, and you're gonna end up with loose pages, and the spleen will be ruined. So this
So
one,
is it a little more expensive to have it ring bound?
no,
Is
it's not.
it's not. So
No.
that's a good idea to have it ring bound.
It's a lot better way to read a book.
Oh yeah,
flat out,
it
you
opens
know.
up really flat, nice
Yeah.
and easy, like this, folks.
Yeah.
It really does. That's right. Yeah.
And
So go ahead.
we had problems with a couple of the business books, which were about that size, and the amateur hockey one. We had problems because people were putting them flat out,
Flat.
and pages would come unglued.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure some people were trying to photocopy.
Yeah, that
we got
too.
a picture. Hey,
Yeah.
we got a picture of our team, and try to email it off to their friends or
Yeah.
whatever, and they try to. Of course, you try and fold one of those. Here, you can put them upside down like that, and
Yeah,
photocopy it really easy. That's right. So you were able to get pictures and names from people that you mentioned and so on. But what about all these articles? Like, I mean,
That's all from the archives, downtown Winnipeg.
okay,
They
so
have the Neepaw Press archives there.
all right. So a lot of us out of the Neepaw Press, like originally from Neepaw Press.
Some of it's from some of the smaller communities, like the Toulon paper or
Okay.
whatever, but most of it is Neepaw Press
Neepaw Press.
and Banner.
Well, yeah, as you got into the more recent
Yeah.
ones, of course, it would be the
But,
Neepaw Press and Banner.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of going down there and spending. I usually spend about maybe 5 or 6 hours going through and when you get it on the screen, I set it so that it rolls, just so that if you see anything about baseball, you can stop it and then
Oh, I see.
get that
It's-
article off. It's and it usually is only from, say, I look from July till September. to
Oh,
get
surely,
what I
yeah, because
want.
it's baseball season.
Yeah.
That's right.
and so they have reels and reels. I don't know how many reels I went through.
So you could then expand a particular page or whatever, zoom in on a particular article and have that printed for
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, I'd scan it and save it, and then at
Right.
the end they would send it to me on email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you would, of course, organize it and then send those email articles and pictures to your publisher.
Take them down to my publisher, and he would work on them. Yeah. So it's a question of knowing what I was looking for that particular visit to the archives. Like if I was
okay.
looking for a 68 Cubs or whatever, I would go down to the archives and scan through year 68, get what I wanted, take it to the publisher.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So did you have a list of the championship winners
Yeah.
to start with, and
Yeah.
then you key on them perhaps
Exactly. Yeah.
for that year? So where would you get that list of?
You can get that off of online.
Oh, just online, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, doing this sort of thing a little bit easier now than it would have been 20 years ago.
I think so.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can do online work. Did you get much information out of the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame?
A little bit, like for that section of the book, I got
Yeah.
a lot of it from there. Yeah, they have a website, and you can get the printouts for all the players now. So
Right.
I use them for that part. And it's a fairly significant part. It's probably maybe 30 pages in it. So
On the
On
Hall
the Hall
of
of
Fame.
Fame,
In the
yeah.
Hall of Fame, right?
teams and individuals.
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Manitoba Senior Baseball book that Rick Sparling has written, and I want to ask you, Rick, about the promotion of the book. I know I've heard that it's going to be available in a couple of places, or at least take orders for the book in a couple of places. Do you want to tell me about that first of all?
We're going to leave a copy of the book at Gilling Schmall Agencies, and Don.
Here, Deepwater.
Yeah, and there'll be a sign-up sheet there, or
Sure.
an order sheet.
Yeah.
And they can have a look at the book, and if they want to order one, they can put it on order. I'm going to be out here with some quantities of books before May 22nd.
Before May 22nd. Okay.
Yeah.
So your publisher is guaranteeing they'll have them ready, or
There
your
you
printer,
go.
I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
for May 22nd.
They're going to be retailing for $50 a book,
$50. Okay.
and the proceeds, like all the sales, will go to minor baseball.
Oh, great! Well, I know you've donated your sales and that from profits from your book before. The Roxy Theatre was a beneficiary of that, I know. So minor ball, or this area, minor ball, is the major recipient of.
Right.
Okay, well, that's great. That's great. And when people know that, they're, maybe willing to buy the book. Just, well, okay. So, I mean, if the book's worth $30, I think, but I'll pay 50 because 20 of it's going to go.
There you go.
My 20 is going to go to minor ball, and it's a way to support minor ball in your area. So
There's teams like Manitoba, for example, won it 10 years in a row, the Santa Clara League.
10 in a row.
10 in a row. So
I know they did for a while. Wow.
So I'm counting on the players from Manitoba. So we're going to probably get a book out there and take orders out there. But they can drive here.
Yeah.
Maybe the coach or somebody could drive to New
Well, Jim Small was telling me that he thinks the insurance, Minnedosa Insurance, will do similarly to what Don Small's doing at the Gillen Small one.
And there's a couple of other places that I think Gillen Small have an agency somewhere else too that they.
They used. I don't know if they still do, but they did have one up McCurry, I think.
Yeah, it's still there.
Perhaps, yeah, still there. And some of these players, well, Carberry would be in quite a few of the.
They think they won it 6 years in a row.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity there. Maybe we'll find somebody in the Carberry area. If you're in the Carberry area and you'd be willing to help promote the book and so on, you can get a hold of Rick through the TV station here is probably the simplest way to do that. And we can do that. Or Jim Small has been involved with the promotion. I was talking to him earlier today, and he's be willing, I'm sure, to point people in the right direction.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, my email is rickbarb@shaw.ca.
rickbarb@shaw.ca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We maybe put that on the screen perhaps as well. So that's good to know to get there. So you might be, I suppose, if you said May 22nd they would be
trying to
available?
get them here before May 22nd because I think that's when the Hall of Fame induction is.
Oh, okay.
So I hope to get out here around May 15th with them.
So they'd be you're wanting them to be available at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony,
right?
Which and that's on the 22nd.
I think it is. Yeah.
So, okay. Is that here in Nipawin?
No,
I didn't think
in
so.
Morden.
Yeah, that's in their permanent facility.
Right, but Don will be going to that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm sure people there would want to see it and get one and so on. So then, how many hours a week? Like when you got a project like this going, how would you estimate? How many hours a week would you spend on it, do you think?
It varies. It depends how much information is coming in, but usually I like to put in about like an average an 8-hour day.
Really, on just the one project?
Like totally right now, I think I'm up to almost 700 hours on it.
Okay.
So, some weeks there's nothing, and other weeks I work.
Of course, yeah.
I work all week, so it's hard to say.
Well, it's a labor of love, that's for sure, Rick. It really is. I know I've talked to you before about some of these, and you do them. So, so they're available at Gillen Small in Nipawin, and we think they'll be in Minnedosa, Carberry as well. So you can check and see if you'd like to get one of these. We sure hope that those that are in the book, all those teams and the players would be interested in owning one of these books and maybe buy it for somebody else as well. For
this one here will be this copy will be at Gillen Small.
Oh, okay, surely, yeah. There's just the one copy at the moment as of today.
Yeah, I have to go and put an order in when I get back.
That's printed, kind of thing. So you've got that there. Well, is there anything we missed, Rick?
There is a section in the back called Tall Tales.
Tall Tales.
It's a few stories that I got from here and there.
Oh, so are these tall tales? They might be, I was going to say dressing room tales, but the dugout tales we maybe would want to call it. They're tall tales.
Should be rated near, no, the other way.
Just a little bit. There's Gerald Buchanan's picked for an all-star team. Well, look at this. This is interesting.
And he just passed away.
Yeah, Jerry did. Yeah, that's right. Just a week or so ago. Yeah, Tom Inverarity. I knew Tom Inverarity. He and his wife were friends of my mom and dad.
Oh,
And he was a catcher for the farmers, I'm guessing.
we had a section. This is Gerald's picks for All-Star. But
Okay.
this other one was done by a committee. You've just gone by it.
Oh, here.
Yeah, this is done by a committee
Oh, okay.
and made up of a cub and a farmer, and I forget who the other one was, but that's their idea on who All-Stars were over the years.
Over
And
the years. Well, I should.
It's in different years, though.
Right. Yes. Yes. Well, I think we should just read these names. I know
Yeah.
most of
Okay.
the names really. Tom Inverarity. I mean, Ken Spackman is a first baseman. This is Jerry Buchanan's pick. Lawson Davy, younger than the first two by quite a bit, playing second base. Bob Allen at shortstop. Tall fella for playing shortstop. Third base, Clint McCurley and Pat Andrews. Well, Clint I don't know, Pat I do, of course. Pitchers, Greg Hawken and Ray Sims. Now, Ray would be the older one and Greg the younger one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ray Sims was my grade 7 teacher,
Wow.
so I knew him fairly well. Left field, Eddie Sage and Glenn Tibbett. Knew both of them. And center field, Ray Rush. Well, I don't know if I personally would have known Ray Rush, but I certainly knew of him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There's a Ray Rush, or is that a Merv Rush trophy? I'm not sure, so I better be careful.
It could be both.
Could be either, right? Could be either or both. And in right field, Mike Lewandowski and Garrett Rempel, right from the present Cubs team. Garrett he leads that team pretty well. Yeah. Fast. Okay, I was talking to Jim Small. I got to read this to you folks. I was talking to Jim Small about who he thought was the fastest pitcher over his years in baseball. And he thinks maybe Bob Baker was the fastest. But there were others like Franklin's Bill Fraser, Murray Colasar, Harold Single, and the Cloverleaf's Morley McFarland. Jim's son Don was radar checked between 80 and 85 miles per hour. Now Don had a lot of movement on his ball too.
Yeah.
Yes, I was told. Yeah, I never played ball at this level, so I don't know it from that perspective at all. Yeah.
One of the things on the 1955 Cubs team, the surviving members of that team is Ed Sage and myself.
Oh, okay.
And I was only 10 years old.
And you were just 10 years old.
Yeah. But
That's okay. This is All Stars, yeah,
in different
different
years.
eras. So from
Yeah.
50 to 84, Tom Inverarity mentioned again, Rayburn Rush, Bob Baker, Ken Spackman, Clint McCurley, Bob Allen, Eddie Crabb, Terry Oliver, that's a newer name, Don Martin, Ed Sage, Norm Hempstead, Pat Andrews, Jim Small, Don McGorman, Ron McGorman, Brian Reed, Ron McKinnon, Bill Fraser, and Merv Buchanan, co-managers. Well, I would know 60% of those anyway, for sure.
Well, Merv Buchanan was the original manager for the Cubs.
For the Cubs, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I remember when I was a boy, the Cubs and the Farmers were both playing in that league that you mentioned. Had they had one team that started, like the Farmers started before the Cubs, do you know, or vice versa?
The Farmers started before, but they got out of it, and
Okay.
the Cubs had a real good run for a few years, and then all of a sudden the Farmers, once they got into the Manitoba Senior Baseball League, they went well, and they were both in the Yellowhead together
Before they went,
before they went to the
yeah,
Manitoba Senior. Yeah,
before the Farmers went to the M.
right.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
kind of all chronologically done, so it runs.
Yeah.
One league runs into the next.
Well, it's certainly very interesting. And I bet you if the 1985 to 2024 group here, I'll probably know all of them because I was doing announcing at that time. Mike Lewandowski, Glenn Tibbett, Lawson Davy, Larry Nicholson, Don Small, Jim White, Brian White, Cam Tibbett, Garrett Rempel, Troy Much, Greg Hawken, Merv Bone, Kevin Lewandowski, Dean McBride, Andy Boehm, and Garth White. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's very...
a lot of great baseball players.
Oh, yes. So it's not just pictures and names. You've got articles. You've got remembrances of people. Did people write articles for you? Like I know in one of your other books that people wrote articles. So.
Let's see here. If I can just get you on here. this is Hall of Fame stuff. So, Hall of Fame.
As you can see, folks, that this would
There
be
we go.
a coffee table book because it doesn't work real well on your knee. And it's the type of thing you want to thumb through or show somebody something when they come to visit or whatever. Yes. Oh, there's your Tall Tales page.
Yeah. Well, I'll read you one quick one here.
Okay.
Bob Allen was trying to arrange an exhibition game against the Brandon Cloverleafs on a Sunday, but Dick McKenzie wouldn't allow a game to be played in town on Sundays. So Bob had the Cloverleafs meet up with the Cubs out at the diamond at the airport.
Oh.
There wasn't much Dick could do about it because the airport was outside of town limits. The game was played, and I don't think Dick appreciated it, but hopefully that wasn't on his mind when he was calling balls and strikes when Bob came to the plate. Anyway,
No, a true umpire would not remember anything like that. That's for sure. Yeah, Dick McKenzie, that's right. He was. Do you have anything with umpires in there? You mentioned him as an umpire. Did you do a little section on umpires? Or?
I think I did, but I don't
know where it is.
Oh my gosh.
Because that'd be interesting as well.
This is. I'll read you one more.
Okay.
How a nickname was formed. Ray Crabb, one of the 12 siblings who always got the most turkeys from the salt plant's Christmas parties, one per kid,
Oh yeah.
was pitching for the Neepawa Farmers, and his older brother Ed was playing for the Cubs. That was Ray or Jake.
Yes, I know them.
And he was only about 18 and around grade 12. Ed faced Ray at the plate 4 times in a game, and Ray struck him out every time. Well, Ed would come back to the dugout each time after bat, just mumbling to himself. After 4 times, the team agreed that his nickname would be Mumbles.
Mumbles.
So that was it.
Well, that's a good nickname too. Yeah, and good reason for it. So, okay, well, that's great. Well, thank you, Rick, for popping in today, and hopefully this promotes your book a little bit.
Yeah,
and remember, folks, the proceeds from the book don't go to Rick. He does all this just gratis. He loves to do this, and he's a great contributor and a wonderful fella to promote Neepawa and things in Neepawa. Minor Ball will be the recipient, the beneficiary of proceeds from this particular book. So you can contact the TV station to get more information, or Guild Small Agencies in Neepawa, where you can sign up to get a book and so on. So once again,
phone me at my
his email address once again is rickbarb@shaw.ca. That's RICKBABR at shaw.ca.